Initially I found the forest a bit claustrophobic, but that has passed, and I really like to be in amongst tall trees. The taller and thicker and older the better. A great pleasure of this place is that the forest meets the sea, and it's really an everyday pleasure that never fails to reward. They say some of your senses shut down, sort of tunnel your attention when you're really in danger, immediate danger.
That wasn't a normal fire season. It started really early in the northern part of the state and it worked its way down. And just the ferocity of the fires, given, long periods of drought and fuel loads and a whole range of measures, I don't think it would have mattered what you had to throw at it. It was just like, nothing anybody had seen before.
What surprised us on our return a week later was the silence. Australia has always burned. Plants have co-evolved with the landscape. Many have the memory of fire embedded in their DNA and have adapted to recover. Some depend on it to set seed. Some retreat underground and resprout after rain. And others, like eucalypts, sprout epicormic buds along their trunks and branches. Recovery for people is more problematic. Fire moves through landscape without regard for boundaries. But government controls reinforce private ownership, focusing on building fire-resistant houses, cutting down trees, and the maintenance of individual plots of land. Some people comply, but others don't, creating patterns of localized vulnerability which affect the entire community. How can the memory of the fire help to coalesce all of these different perspectives into a collective vision? During a welcome to country on the beach, UN representatives shared their knowledge, emphasizing that country needs to be understood and responded to as a whole. We've been working with the local community for the past year, thinking about what it might mean to shift towards this idea of a landscape held and cared for in common.
They're such a connected community. They're not afraid to speak up and rally for what they want to see occur there.
Together, we've explored how fire moves through landscape, how sound registers biodiversity and its loss. We've considered regional water balancing to keep creek lines moist, and how colonial settlement and the private ownership of land has led to centuries of degradation. And we've begun to work on a collective agreement, where strategies that reduce vulnerability at territorial and local scales are included in planning documents and then used to bargain with government agencies for the protection of forests. Imagine if the approach was less about risk management and control, and more about simple, ongoing, adaptive practices. If the landscape was managed correctly, and the mix was right, perhaps we can learn not just to be ready, but to welcome fire, to live with it.